Dear students, in this second session for second year, we learn regarding electric flux, Gauss law and potential. Some MCQs like this. So first we read, what is the nature of Gaussian surface involved in Gauss law of electrostatics? Say we are given as options scalar, electrical, magnetic and vector. In fact, we know flux is a scalar and flux is calculated by formula E dot ds. Say here ds is area vector for the Gaussian surface or the small surface, which amounts to be total Gaussian surface when you take the total or sum over the Gaussian surface. Therefore, here flux is a scalar, but we take area vector in calculating the flux. Therefore, Gaussian surface involved is a vector surface. A fourth option is correct. Going for the second question, a Gaussian sphere encloses an electric dipole within it. The total flux across the sphere, say electric dipole is enclosed, means if you have this as the Gaussian surface, plus q and minus q. So, as many charges going outside from the positive charge, so many enter here. Therefore, net flux is 0. That is from physics point of view. From Gauss law point of view, flux is equal to 1 by epsilon naught net charge enclosed, because on the dipole net charge is plus q minus q, which is equal to 0. So, from both the analysis, we get 0. So, option 3 is right. Going for the third question now, we read, the inward and outward electric flux from a closed surface are respectively 8 10 raised to 3 and 4 10 raised to 3 units. Then net charge inside the closed surface. We simply do this. We apply the Gauss surface, Gauss law, 1 by epsilon naught q. Therefore, q equals epsilon naught into phi. But phi is net outward flux. Therefore, I write phi outward minus phi inward. So, epsilon naught, phi outward, it is given inward and outward. So, 8 is inward, outward is 4. 4 into 10 raised to 3 minus 8 into 10 raised to 3. So, that is minus 4 into 10 raised to 3 epsilon naught is q. Therefore, if we write its unit, it is coulomb. Therefore, option minus 4 10 raised to 3 epsilon naught. Say second option is right. We go for the fourth question there. The electric flux for a Gaussian surface A that encloses the charged particles on the free space is given by Q1 minus 40 nanocoulomb, Q2 plus 78.85 nanocoulomb, Q3 minus 56 nanocoulomb. We are asked to calculate the flux. Say here Gaussian surface is outer surface, all Q1, Q2, Q3 are inside. So simply according to Gauss law, flux equals 1 by epsilon naught net charge Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3. Say we substitute everything, 1 by epsilon naught. Epsilon naught is 8.85, 10 raised to minus 12, I substitute. Q1, say minus 14, I take nanocoulomb outside there, plus 78.85 minus 56 into 10 raised to minus 9. So observe now, minus 14 minus 56 is minus 70 plus 78.85. So we left with 8.85. 8.85 cancels. What we left is 10 raised to minus 9 by 10 raised to minus 12, which amounts to be 10 raised to 3. Say, what is the unit for this? Say, flux unit is flux per unit area is electric field. Therefore, E into area. E is Newton per coulomb. Area is meter square. So, on Newton meter square, coulomb inverse can be written. Therefore, option 1 is right. 1 is right. We think of fifth question now. 4 metal conductors have different shapes. A sphere, cylindrical, pear, lightning conductor are mounted on insulating stands uncharged. The one which is best suited to retain the charge for a longer time. Say in this question we need to think of one important idea. Say whenever we place charge on the conductor, it gets uniformly distributed. But if the conductor is having sharp edges, area is small but charge is more. So in such cases, in such points, charge density will be larger and charge starts leaking into surroundings. Say in the given things, very smooth surface is required to retain the charge for a long time. Among all the four things given, sphere is the one smooth. So therefore, having the smooth surface, therefore option A is right. So sphere can retain the charge for longer time. We read the sixth one. The charges plus Q, say Q plus Q and plus Q, are placed at vertices of an equilateral triangle L. If the net electrostatic potential energy of the system is 0, then Q is equal to, say, we write a diagram there. This is Q, this is Q, this is Q. The potential energy of the system, we write. The potential energy of the system, which is equal to 0, we write 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught comes out. First we imagine two charges taken. We write the potential energy QQ by, I take L as the side, L. And then once we bring the third charge, say we have to write two pairs of terms there, Q with Q and Q with Q. So I write QQ by L, QQ by L. This is the net potential energy of the system. Now, because all the sides are L there, if we go for all these things, we have, say, QQ, 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 2QQ plus Q square equals 0 there. All those things will cancel there. Therefore, 2QQ therefore 2QQ can be written as minus Q square. So 1Q cancels there. Q equals minus Q by 2. So option 4 is right there. Now we think of the seventh question there. If there are only one type of charge in the universe, then E is the electric field, ds is the vector. We read all the things. E dot ds is not 0 on any surface. That is not possible. If the charge is enclosed inside the surface, then E dot ds 0 cannot be 0. E dot ds could not be defined. That's also not possible. We go for third one. E dot ds is equal to infinity if the charge is inside. That can also be not be stated. So finally, we can decide fourth option. E dot ds equals 0 if the charge is outside, definitely, because of the same Gauss law. Their fourth option is right. We read the eighth one. Consider the charge configuration and a spherical Gaussian surface as shown in the figure. When calculating the flux over the spherical surface, flux of electric field over the spherical surface, the electric field due to, say, flux calculation requires only charges involved in, say, enclosed inside the Gaussian surface. But for the field calculation, whether the charges inside or outside the Gaussian surface is immaterial. Therefore, all the charges are to be taken to calculate the field. Therefore, option 3 is right. But for the calculation of flux, one need to consider only the charges inside the Gaussian surface. Next, we go for the ninth question. We read, a square surface of side L meters in the plane of the paper, a uniform electric field E also in the plane of paper is limited only to the lower half of the square surface. The electric flux in SI units associated with is, say, area and field lines are parallel to each other. Therefore, there is no chance of field lines passing through the surface, whether it is lower half or upper half. Therefore, the flux through the given square is 0. So, fourth option is correct. As the field lines and the plane of the square are parallel, no chance of field lines entering into the square. Therefore, net flux through the square is 0. Now, going for the 10th question, a hollow cylinder has a charge q coulomb within it. If phi is electric flux in units of voltmeter associated with curved surface B, the flux linked with the plane surface A in units of voltmeter will be. Observe here, in this Gaussian surface or in this cylinder, Q is at the middle. Two circular surface and one curved surface is there. Curved surface flux is given. Flux. Net flux phi net should be equal to 1 by epsilon naught Q. But phi net is equal to phi curved surface plus, say, two circular surface things that we can write as phi into 2, because through A and A, two circular surface, same amount of flux will go out. Therefore, I write adding them 2 phi dash, 2 phi dash. Phi dash is the flux through A and A, which is equal to, according to Gauss law, 1 by epsilon naught Q. So, if we rearrange the terms, phi dash into 2 equals Q by epsilon naught minus phi. Q by epsilon naught minus phi. So, phi dash equals 1 by 2 Q by epsilon naught minus phi. So, option 4 is right. Option 4 is right. We think of 11th question now. Say a conducting sphere of radius r has surface charge density sigma. The electric potential on its surface, we know, say Q by 4 pi r square is sigma. So, Q equals sigma 4 pi r square, surface area of the sphere. But we know the potential is kq by r, kq by r on the surface of sphere. K is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Q is sigma 4 pi r square divided by r. So, cancelling 4 pi there, 1 r there, we have sigma r in the numerator, in the denominator epsilon naught. Therefore, option 1 is right. We think of 12th one now. The two spherical conductors of radius 4 meter and 5 meter are charged to same potential. If sigma 1 and sigma 2 be respective values of the surface density of the charge on the two spheres, then their ratio is, say, we can use the formula directly what we got as the answer for the 11th question. That means potential on a sphere is sigma r by epsilon naught. Therefore, here sigma and r are only variables, because radius is variable, charges are variable, and their potentials are same. Therefore, I can write sigma 1 r1 equals sigma 2 r2, because potential is same. Therefore, sigma 1 by sigma 2 is r2 by r1. r2 is 5 meter by 4. So, option 4 is right. Option 4 is right, 5 by 4. So, with this, we go for the 13th question here. We read it. Two fixed charges A and B of 5 microcoulomb, each are separated by a distance 6 meter. C is the midpoint of the line joining A and B. A charge Q of minus 5 microcoulomb is shot perpendicular to the line joining AB through C with kinetic energy of 0.606 joules. The charge Q comes to rest at the point D. The distance CD is, say, we write the figure here. I solve it like this. Say, we write the figure like this. We have two charges Q and Q, say what are given as 5 microcoulomb there, I write 5 micro, we can call that as A and B, and C is the midpoint. The distance of separation between them is 6 meter. This is the perpendicular line through which we shot a charge from C with kinetic energy. I write EK, EKI. EKI means initial kinetic energy 0.06 joules. Say, as this charge from C moves upwards, it is pulled by other two charges and finally it stops somewhere. Say we call that as D. C is center and D. At this point D, the charge stops. Now we are asked to calculate, say, what is the distance CD. For this, the idea is one must not apply force into distance as work done, because force is continuously variable. Therefore, here we have to initiate or invoke work energy theorem. That is work, say, or else conservation of energy basically. That is total energy initially is equal to total energy finally. Say initially this charge Q, what we are projecting, that is 5 microcoulomb, minus 5 microcoulomb, I write it as small q, minus 5 microcoulomb is having two types of energy. One due to the charges, that is potential energy, other the kinetic energy what we supply. So total energy to be calculated. Therefore, at C, total energy E, I say, or ET we write. Potential energy UI, initial potential energy, plus initial kinetic energy EKI. Initial potential energy, how to calculate? Observe, C is the midpoint, so AC is 3 meter, BC is also 3 meter. We know how to write the expression for potential energy of the 3 charge system. We write it now. I write that here. UI is K, that is 9 into 10 raised to 9 to be taken out, and the net charge potential to be written. First we take charges at A and B, that is Q into Q by distance between them 6, and then when we place small, that is minus 5 micro here, two more terms to be written with this 5 and this 5. I write minus, say, plus Q into Q by 3 into 2 I take, because with this and this. Now if we substitute everything, I get UI as 9 into 10 raised to 9 Q square. Observe, all the Q are 5, so we can take 5 square into 10 raised to minus 12 because micro is there, and I left here with 1 by 6 minus 2 by 3. Why minus? Q is minus, small q is minus. So this initial potential energy, after simplifying, we get minus 0.1125 joules. Therefore, total energy ET equals minus 0.1125 plus 0.06 kinetic energy, which amounts to be minus 0.0525 joules. This total energy should remain same even at point D where the charge stops. Therefore, at D, the charge system will have only one potential energy, no question of kinetic energy. So I write U final. U final can be written like this. Again 9 into 10 raised to 9. We write first, say, we imagine this charge, first these two charges are there, so Q into Q by 6, and then this charge with this charge and this charge with this charge. So that is QQ by AD plus QQ by DB. But observe, by symmetry AD equals DB. Therefore, we can write UF as 9 into 10 raised to 9. Observe, all 5 Q's are there. 25 10 raised to minus 12 can be taken, but inside 1 by 6 say 1 by 6 minus 2 by AD to be written, because these two are one and the same, so 2 is taken, adding AD minus, because the small q is minus charge. So with these things, this is the only total energy what is possessed at D. Therefore, equating ET equals UF, we get AD or dB as 5 meters. So once we know AD or dB, from this diagram, say these two, this is 5 and this is 3, we can calculate CD by using Pythagoras theorem, or else we can simply think of AD is 5 and AC is 3. So CD, the right angle triangle, should be 4 centimeter because of Pythagorean triplet. Or else you can calculate CD square as AD square minus AC square. So you will get again 4. So option 4 meter is right. So option 3 is right. 14th we read, the electric potential at any point XYZ in meter given by V equals 3x square. The electric potential at point 2 meter, 0, 1 is, say here we take E, electric field E equals minus dV by dL. Here only x is given, I take x minus differential of 3x square by, with respect to x, which is minus 6x after differentiating it. Minus 6x means x is 2 meter where it is asked. Therefore, E equals minus 6 into 2 minus 12 volt per meter. Option 1 is right. Option 1 is right. Say we go for the 15th question now. There is a uniform electric field intensity E which is as shown. How many labeled points have the same electric potential as the fully shaded point? Say fully shaded point is this one, all these are unshaded. Now we know in an electric field, from negative side to say positive side to negative side, say arrows indicate the negative side, non-arrow sides indicate positive side. That means electric field direction is shown like this, positive to negative, and in that direction always potential goes on decreasing towards the negative side. Here first row is having same potential as they are in the same line. Second row, all circles have same potential, and third circle also have same potential, but the potential of first set of circles, first row of circles is different from second row and third row. Therefore, here our answer, this, say the middle row, in the middle row where the fully shaded circle is there, all those 3 circles, open circles, must also have same potential. Therefore, there are 3 more points. Therefore, option 2 is right. Going for the 16th one, n identical mercury droplets charged to the same potential V coalesce to form a single bigger drop. The potential of the new drop will be, say here we know the potential V equals potential of the smaller drop, I write Vs, say KQ by R, small drop radius R, and big drop radius VB is KQ by R, where Q is total charge when we coalesce them and R is big drop radius. But as big drop radius volume is equal to sum of volume of all the small drops, we can get directly R as n to the power of 1 by 3, say I write it, R equals n to the power of 1 by 3 R, and Q as NQ. So with this, if we substitute everything, V big is equal to KNQ by n to the power of 1 by 3 R, which amounts to be n to the power of 2 by 3 kq by r or n to the power of 2 by 3 v small. That means v small is given as v. So option 2 is right. Option 2 is right. We think of 17th question now. Two concentric spheres of radius r and r have positive charges q1 and q2 with equal surface charge densities. What is the electric potential at their common center? We write a figure like this. Just observe. Say one sphere and another sphere is like this. We call this as R and this as R. Outer sphere as R. And inner sphere is having charge Q1, outer sphere is having charge Q2. This is their common center O. So they have equal surface charge densities, means sigma same on both. We are asked to calculate net potential at the center. We know potential inside a sphere is always constant. Therefore, and potential is a scalar, we have to add them algebraically. Here both the charges are Q1 and Q2, and we have to add the potentials due to Q1 and Q2 sphere actually at the center. Therefore, net potential V equals K or 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 by R plus Q2 by R. But 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 in terms of sigma, if we write sigma 4 pi R square by R plus sigma 4 pi R square by R, as sigma is given to be same charge density. Say 4 pi goes there, 1 by epsilon naught sigma can be taken out. So what we left is 1 R cancels, 1 R cancels, R plus R. Therefore, the option 1 is right. Potential at the common center is sigma by epsilon naught R plus R. We go for the 18th question now. Three charges minus Q, capital Q and minus Q are placed at equal distance along a straight line. If total potential energy of the system is 0, the ratio Q by Q becomes, we read. Say, we write the figure first. Like this, we take minus Q here and Q. They're all placed at equal distance, R and R. And now this becomes 2R. This distance. We write the net potential of this three charge system, and it is made to be made equal to 0. We get the thing now. Just observe. What is the net potential, which is equal to 0? K. And first we write these two charges, minus into minus plus Q square by 2R. And then we write this with this. So both of them are same, minus QQ by R into 2I, right? If they are equal, we can write Q square by 2R equals QQ by R into 2. So if you cancel R there and one Q there, you get Q by Q as Q by Q, say 1 by 4, because this 2 comes over here. Therefore, option 3 is right. We read 19th question. A mass of 1 kg carrying a charge 2 coulomb is accelerated through a potential of 1 volt. The velocity acquired by it is, say we know kinetic energy of mv square is equal to work done V into Q. V is potential and T into charge. We do that now. Say half into mass 1 kg V square, potential 1 volt into charge 2 coulomb. Therefore, V square equals 4, V equals 2 meter per second. Option 2 is right. Option 2 is right. We read the 20th question. Work done to move a charge on an equipotential surface is, you know it's a knowledge based question. Option 4, because equipotential means zero potential difference. no potential difference. That means no question of work done, because work done is nothing but potential difference into charge mode. As there is no potential difference, no work done, answer is 0. We read 21st. Two metal plates are separated by 2 centimeter. The potentials of the plates are 10 and minus 10 and plus 30. The electric field between the two plates, say we know E equals minus dV by dx. What I can write as minus of V2 minus V1 by dx. V2, say I take 30, minus 10 is there, minus sign, if you cannot see there, I write it here. Minus 10 is there, minus into minus plus 10 by dx, 2 centimeter, 10 raised to minus 2. That means minus 42 into 10 raised to minus 2. That means minus 20 into 10 raised to plus 2. That means 2000 volt per meter minus. So we can neglect the minus sign. Option 4 is right. We read question 22 now. The figure gives electric potential V as a function of distance through 4 regions on x, y, x axis. Which of the following is true for magnitude of electric field in these regions? Say we look at the graph. A and C have flat portions. That means potential is constant, field is 0, or as a field is 0 because E equals dV by dx. Therefore, A and C field are same. EA equals EC. So option 1 and 4, only 1 is correct because in all other things EA is not equal to EC. Therefore, option 1 is correct. But we can think of EB less than ED. How it is possible? Say we know E equals minus dV by dx. Say this line in the region B is having positive slope, therefore dV by dx is positive, therefore overall E is negative. On the D region, dV by d, say this line is having negative slope, overall E is positive. So in the region B, E is negative, in the region D, E is positive. That means directions are opposite, therefore option 1 is right. We read question 23. A system of two charges separated by a certain distance apart stores electrical potential energy. If the distance between them is increased, the potential energy of the system, say 4 options we read, decreases in any case, remains the same, increases in any case, may increase or may decrease. First we write the potential formula. Say potential energy formula K Q1 Q2 by R. Now, if both Q1 Q2 are positive or negative, as the distance increased, potential energy decreases. If one is unlike, that is Q1 is positive, Q2 is negative, then the potential energy may decrease or increase. So, therefore, the correct answer is may increase or may decrease depending on the type of charges what we have there. We read the question 24 now. The work done in carrying a charge Q once round the circle of radius R with a charge Q at the center. That means, say if you have charge Q at the center, you are taking charge small q on circle once round. You know this circle, any point on the circle lies at same distance from the center of the circle. That means the potential at all points on the circle remains same. That means circle acts as an equipotential line. Therefore, no work is possible. In this given options, 0 is not given. So, 4th option is right. 25th we read, the insulation property of air breakdown at 3 into 10 raised to 6 volt per meter. Maximum ray charge C in Coulomb that can be given to the sphere of radius 10 centimeter is approximately. Here we use the formula, say E is equal to K Q by R square, where R is radius of the sphere. If we substitute these things, we get E equals 9 into 10 raised to 9 q, we don't know, to be calculated, by r square 10 raised to minus 1 whole square, because 10 into 10 raised to minus 2 in meters is 10 raised to minus 1 whole square, which amounts to be, say, 3 into 10 raised to 6 into 10 raised to minus 2 after cross multiplication. We have 9, 10 raised to 9 into q. After calculating all these things, we will get option 3 as right, 3.3 microcoulomb. We read 26th question. In a region where electric potential is constant, electric field will be, say, electric potential constant means field should be 0, because E equals minus dV by dx, where V is 0, field is 0. V is constant, field is 0, because E equals minus dV by dx. Here they are giving V as constant, differential of constant is 0, therefore electric field intensity is 0. Say we read 27th question there. What is the electric potential at a distance 9 centimeter from 3 nanocoulomb? V equals 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r, 9 into 10 raised to 9. Q is 3 nanocoulomb, 10 raised to minus 9. Distance is 9 into 10 raised to minus 2. Cancel these things. 3 into 10 raised to plus 2. So 300 volt is the answer. Very simple problem. 28th we think of 2 point charges 3 nanocoulomb plus 1 nanocoulomb are placed 5 centimeter apart in air. The work done to move charge B towards A by 1 centimeter. Here observe, work done means we do it by calculation of change in potential energy. Work done is equal to UF, final potential energy minus initial potential energy. Say final potential energy can be written as Q, K into 3 into 10 raised to minus 9, 1 into 10 raised to minus 9. Distance between them is 5 into 10 raised to minus 2. Ui, K into, say, 3 into 10 raised to minus 9, 1 into 10 raised to minus 9 by 1 centimeter moved means 4 centimeter remaining, 4 into 10 raised to minus 2. If we want to calculate the work done now, if you substitute everything, 9 into 10 raised to 9 and 10 raised to minus 18, you can cancel 1 9 there, and 3 comes out. Inside the bracket, we have 1 by 5 minus 1 by 4. That amounts to be finally 1.35. Option 1 is right. After simplification, you get 1.31. 5 10 raised to minus 7. We read 29th question now. A ball of mass 1 gram and charge 10 raised to minus 8 coulomb moves from a point A whose potential 600 volt to the point B whose potential is 0. Velocity of the ball at the point B is 20 centimeter per second. The velocity of the ball at A. Say here we are given with mass of the ball, charge on the ball, potential difference. Say potential at A is 600 volts, potential at B is 0. The velocity of the ball at B given, the velocity at ball at A to be calculated. That means work done is nothing but change in kinetic energy. Half m Vb square. Vb is the potential energy at B minus half m Va square. But what is the work done? Potential difference into charge moved. Here we can take out half m out. Vb square. Vb is given 20 10 raised to minus 2 whole square because centimeter given minus Va square. So potential difference 600 volts. Say Vb minus Va, potential difference 600 volts into charge moved is 10 raised to minus 8, which is equal into 2 by m, which is equal to 400 10 raised to minus 4 Va square. If we calculate these things, we will get finally Va as 16.7 centimeter per second. So option 3 is right. Option 3 is right. We go for the last question in this session. A spherical shell of radius 10 centimeter is carrying a charge q. If electric potential at distance 5 centimeter, 10 centimeter and 15 centimeters are from the center of the spherical shell is V1, V2, V3 respectively, then say we write a figure for that. Here I write, we have a sphere of radius 10 centimeter. We have points, say one at 5 centimeter V1 and one at 10 centimeter and another at 15 centimeter. So 5 centimeter means is inside and 10 centimeter is on the surface. That means we know from the potential concept, potential inside the conductor is same as potential on the surface of conductor. Therefore V1 must be equal to V2. But potential outside varies inversely as the distance. Therefore V1, V2 are larger and V1, V2 equal compared to V3. Therefore V1 equals V2 greater than V3. So option 3 is right. There I conclude this session. In the next session we think of capacitors exclusively. There I conclude this session.